this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. In this latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam, I'm going to share with you a bunch of reasons that it makes a ton of sense to be very optimistic about what's happening in crypto markets right now, even though admittedly it's, some would say, a little bit boring with the sideways price action. It will not stay here forever. So I'll share with you perspective from a number of analysts, including one who's questioning, is XRP trying to break out here specifically against Bitcoin? Because that will be a big deal when that happens. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Damn it. And if you don't like it, well, you can just get out. As I record this video, it is 7:27 p.m. Central Time. XRP is 56 cents. Bitcoin, $59,139. Why even bother mentioning that, though? It's about the same as yesterday. A lot of sideways price action. That's the truth of the matter. Until, of course, inevitably one day you wake up and that's no longer the case. And so we will get out of the boring zone. But in the meantime, thank you for hanging out with me. I'd be lonely otherwise. But here's a crypto fear and greed index, 26 out of 100. So people definitely fearful, except for the OGs. Take a look at this post. So there's this post from Frecky. He's been in the XRP community since forever. In fact, so he actually has a background, obviously. He works, like his career is in finance, and he's been in crypto since 2011. So one of the earliest of adopters here. And he has sage wisdom. I think it's common sense, and not enough people understand this. And even if they do, it's like people, even if they understand some of this stuff, they have a very hard time implementing, right? It's weird because, like, basically when it comes to investing, you get paid to do nothing. You know, as long as the markets ultimately expand over a span of years and decades, you win, right? And so all you have to do is literally nothing. As it turns out, for a lot of people, it's very difficult to do nothing because they see things happen that they think are negative, and even if they are in terms of net worth go down because whatever investments go down, okay, fine. But do you think you're smarter than everybody else out there? You're going to be the one that is like, well, this, I got to take my money, I need to put it here. Are you actually, you're the one. You have greater skill, ability, and wisdom than all the other participants in the market, and you're going to pull it off. Well, maybe you are. I doubt it, though, because that's almost 0% of humans. It's not me. I'm not that. And I know that, and I admit that, which is why I buy stuff and then I do nothing. And so here's what Frecky had to say, and he's been here for a hot minute. He said, the ranging really bores and kills sentiment, then the chop, retest, and eventually big moves. No one knows when or what day. That's why you just dollar cost average. Stack and be in. It will run. But if you aren't in, you chase and make poor decisions versus simply dollar cost averaging. And so that is exactly correct. That is what I consistently say, and I will always say that. It's also the reason I don't have a course to sell you. I'd love to sell you a course for like $11 billion. That'd be fantastic. I can make more money that way. But the truth of the matter is that most people are better served by doing nothing. It's the truth. It's why either you have exposure when the thing runs or you don't, but trying to get in and out of positions and timing markets and the whole thing, no, that does not work. And by the way, so I came across this post from chart analyst Rickus, who I've been following for a little bit. And the reason I came across this particular post is because it was reposted. Well, it was reposted by a bunch of people. The first person I saw it from, though, was chart analyst Credible Crypto with over 400,000 followers. There's a reason he shared this. People have a really hard time with this stuff. But Rickus gets it here. And he wrote just this morning, he said, the more people call for $40,000, he's referencing Bitcoin, of course, the more people call for $40,000, the better it gets. There's a reason majority went missing at $15,000, and Capo, who was a chart analyst, you might have heard of him, famously kept insisting that Bitcoin was going to go down to $12,000. And then when it didn't, and it blasted off to a new all-time high, he would never admit that he was wrong. But as is noted in this post, which I'll read the rest of in just a second, man, he got a big-ass following, just being a mega bear, because in the moment, people believed that. They thought it was going to keep happening. That's weirdly what they wanted to hear. And man, he got a huge following out of that, but he was disastrously wrong. And it's okay to be wrong, you know? What I don't like is when somebody clearly is wrong, but they just won't admit it, and the whole world knows that they know they're wrong, but they just won't do it. Because when people act like that, I'm like, oh, wow, I can't trust you then. I'm wrong. Sometimes, you're wrong. We're all wrong at times. That's okay. No one's perfect. People are ready to forgive as long as you're not wrong on most things all the damn time. Then people just be like, that's adult. That would be an actual idiot then. If you're mostly wrong, you're probably actually stupid. But that's not the reality of life for most people. It's people are wrong. Okay. This guy just wouldn't freaking admit it. It really grinds my gears. And so that's why he's become, I hate to say it, but I mean, he's become a bit of a joke in the world of crypto, even though he still has a massive following. And so anyway, Rickus wrote, there's a reason majority went missing at $15,000, and Capo increased his followers from 70,000 to 700,000, and then price went up. Wish it was as bad. Few more $40,000 calls would be good. Every single account that was bullish on my feed at that time is still bullish now, where roughly 80% that flipped bullish above $30,000 are bearish now. And so wouldn't you know, and this is the same thing I keep telling you folks, and sometimes the improbable happens, I acknowledge that, but I keep telling you, like, I have curated my own personal list of analysts that I think are intellectually honest and do, on the whole, pretty darn good job. And it's not the case that every analyst, in fact, none of the analysts I follow, it's not that they're going to get everything right, because frankly, even if they're doing a pretty good job at their analysis, sometimes the improbable happens, right? But what I want to tell you, and this is a key takeaway, the analysts that I follow, they collectively agree, and they did back then when some people, most analysts, you go back to beginning part of 2023, most analysts, sadly, not the ones I follow, but most analysts very clearly, they were screaming, it's going to be worse, it's going to go lower, and they were wrong. So a lot of these people and some of those analysts, these flipped bullish once as he said here, Bitcoin got above $30,000. And now they are the ones to be bearish here. But the analysts that I follow that are so frequently correct collectively agree, almost all of them, that it's a virtual certainty that Bitcoin does continue to the upside. And if that happens, you know what that means for altcoins, right? So that's why I love to have a big data set. You could consider each individual analyst a single data point. And I look at all of these, I know they're humans, of course, but I'm just saying, if you look at them as data points, it's kind of useful to recognize what the masses think, as long as they're competent, right? And what I'm telling you is that on the whole, they do believe we go up by a lot. New all-time high for Bitcoin, probably well into the six figures to whatever degree. Alt season, absolutely. And then the ones that are XRP centric that I follow, there's strong agreement that yes, XRP hits a new all-time high, enters price, discovery, melts, faces, the whole 9 yards. And we'll find out together. Nobody knows for sure. But I think for a lot of, in fact, I'm going to highlight a bunch more reasons right now, but it just seems to make a ton of sense. In fact, so take a look at this. There's this post from chart analyst Stock Money Lizards, and he wrote the following: answer for yourself. September in bull markets is either the last buying opportunity before takeoff or ... the end of the bull run. And he notes Q4 has always been strong. And my friends, that's just data. That is absolutely just data. So, okay, September, even if we see a bit of a downside or a lot of sideways action even for the month of September, okay, Q4, historically very strong. So he has this chart on the screen, I'll describe for those of you not looking, showing what happens before and after September 1st historically. And he's got 3 different years. He's got 2020, 2023, and this year. We're hours away from 2020, from September 1st, 2024, just hours away, right? So for 2020, though, you can see September 1st hits, Bitcoin goes down, but mostly sideways then, and then you can see what happened in Q4. My God, it rockets. September last year, just a lot of sideways trading action, but then rockets to the upside. And it is indeed the case. I mean, here you can look at the CryptoRank website. I mean, so we have 13 data points on this website going back to 2011 for price action in Bitcoin. Throw out 2024. That's the reason I say 13, because this month's not, the month's about to start. So I know it's on the screen right here. For some reason, it's showing 0.02%, different time zone, I guess. But if you look at the other 13 data points, you can see that 10 out of 13 years, Bitcoin was in the red in September. So my point being, even if that happens again, that doesn't mean we don't have a fantastic Q4. And then there was also this, and I've mentioned this a few times, but it's worth repeating. This is from the Bitcoin Archive website. They wrote, Bitcoin is 68 days before U.S. election. And you can see exactly what happens once the election is over. What happens historically? And so they've got the 2016-2017 bull run, that's in blue, and then they got the 2020 and 2021 bull run, that's in green. And after the election, that's when things really started to heat up. And so we're not quite there yet. And maybe the analysts that think it's most likely that we will have to wait to that point before we see the true fireworks, fine. Either way, this is going to be like the blink of an eye. I know it right now, it feels like it's just dragging on forever and ever and ever. I get that. But eventually, we're going to be in the future at that point. Something is going to happen. And you'll forget it, you know. You'll probably forget the degree to which we're just being tortured moving sideways here. And I've been through so many of these other moments before. But we won't stay here. We cannot and will not range forever. That's not how markets work. That's not how humans work. Something's going to happen. Which way do you think it breaks? To the upside or the downside? You know my vote. Then there was this from Chart Analyst Mustache. Hashtag Bitcoin. And this is fascinating. Okay, so for the bears that think it's actually we're going into bear market, why the hell is it that for over half a freaking year here, we've been trending sideways? People are not in euphoria now, but the market hasn't cratered. That's never happened in history, right? And I pointed that before recently. Well, take a look at this chart, Bitcoin USD chart. He says monthly close today, and the Bitcoin chart looks like this. If the candle closes like this, and by the way, it has, he says it would be the 7th monthly close above the 2021 all-time high. That would be remarkable, to be honest. That's what he says. And to be clear, when he says 7th monthly close above the 2021 all-time high, he's not talking about the all-time high price, which was almost $70,000 for Bitcoin. He's talking about the 2021 cycle all-time high monthly close. And so he's saying 7 months in a row above this. I don't see why people think that human behavior would be so different. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why is it, if we're truly, like, the best is behind us, that was it for the cycle, why hasn't everything just plummeted like we've seen with every other bull run? Answer me, seriously. If you think that, I want to hear from you. If anybody thinks that, it just doesn't make sense to me. And then there's this. I've been talking a lot about perspectives from Stansman. Here's another post. This is from just last night. Just noting, whales are doing some things. And they wrote, and this is on-chain analytics from Sentiment, as crypto prices have let retail traders down, Bitcoin whales are growing in number. A net gain of plus 283 wallets holding at least 100 Bitcoin has emerged in just 1 month. The now 16,120 such wallets on the network has broken a 17-month high. But folks, it's all over, right? The whales never buy at the highs. That's what the lemming retail speculators do. But this time is different. They are buying. And all of the lemming retail speculators, they're the ones that are right this time to get out, right? With all of their emotions driving their financial decisions. They're right this time for the first time in history, right? Do you think that's what's most probable? I sure as hell don't. I sure as hell do not. I mean, if it is, then fine, I'll just be amazed, but I don't find that to be remotely probable. Then you have this from XRP chart analyst Crypto Insight UK, and this is absolutely worth tracking, and I certainly have been a lot all year. And so here he's got the XRP BTC chart, so it's XRP priced against Bitcoin. And he wrote, is XRP BTC trying to break out here? Monthly close today, remember. A monthly close above the white line marked would be even more bullish than a weekly close there. So I'll just say this. Given that I'm not an analyst, I don't make calls and like where the market's bottom this and I mean, I'm willing to go so far sometimes saying I suppose what's most probable is we have. Sometimes I'll do that. When it's come to XRP, I've just been acknowledging as we've been going down to like, yeah, I don't know, maybe this is the low, maybe it does go lower. At this point, I would say, for fun, just a fun guess from a regular dude, not a chart analyst, not a financial guru, but my for fun guess would be that I think XRP's probably bottomed against Bitcoin. I think it's fair to guess that. And there are lots of reasons. XRP's been outperforming like the top 100 coins for like the last 2 months, almost all of them. Like you don't you don't usually see that unless that's because the bottom was actually in. And so forget XRP priced against the United States dollar. XRP priced against Bitcoin and the rest of the top 100 coins. It's substantially outpacing pretty much all of them. That's remarkable. That doesn't normally happen. So given that, knowing we're in a bull market, knowing that eventually XRP always finds a bottom, that's why I'm saying, my for fun guess is, yeah, we probably have at this point. And the good news is, if we haven't, markets always find a bottom. XRP is not going away. It continues to get adopted. There will always be people, as long as it's going in the right direction that way, there will be people like you and me that think it makes sense. And we allocate money as a result of that. And then when things go green and you get huge green candles, then people that don't know anything about XRP will start buying it, because that's what uninformed, emotional investors do. Happens with Bitcoin, happens with ETH, happens with XRP, has before, it will again in the future. That's just how it goes. So as long as there are people like us who, for good reason, genuinely believe XRP makes sense, we're the foundation when it comes to investing. We are the foundation. Then there's everyone else that doesn't know a damn thing and emotionally invests, hasn't done any research at all or very little, but they still throw their money in because green candle number go up. And I'm counting on humans to behave like that. They always do. Then there's this headline from the Crypto Basic. XRP Bollinger Bands suggest looming upsurge as volatility drops below 2017 levels. And they're covering something here that I was actually talking about just the other day. And I've talked about Bollinger Bands a fair bit, really dating back since April, when there was I can't remember which analyst should get credit for pointing this out, getting a lot of attention first off the top of my head anyway. But there's one analyst I follow that did it, and then everyone's like, oh, wow, look at that metric. I hadn't looked at that in a hot minute. But it was back in April, so I've been following it very closely since then, and so have all sorts of analysts out there. But anyway, so the piece reads as follows. Market analyst Mikey Bull confirms that XRP Bollinger Band's volatility has slumped below the 2017 levels, suggesting an imminent upside push. The Market Watcher disclosed this in a recent analysis, sharing a chart that highlights XRP's historical price pattern since 2014. Per market data, that chart leverages Bollinger Bands to visualize the volatility levels of XRP over this period. Notably, the bands have contracted significantly, narrowing more than they did during the 2017 rally. This pattern indicates an unprecedented reduction in volatility. And so, just know this about charting, and I'm not a chartist, I'm never going to pretend to be, but I do know this because I've read it from tons and tons of chartists, all sorts of analysts. One of the things that precedes massive movement is a notable reduction in volatility, and we sure as hell have it here, and we're in a bull market. So what do you think happens when this bitch breaks? I'm thinking face melt season. That's my guess. And so here's the actual post in the chart that Mikey Bull Crypto shared. He wrote, to XRP, the volatility has fallen below the 2017 level. This means a huge breakout and rally looming, as it was in 2017 and 2020. And so, yeah, this is the tightest Bollinger Bands for XRP have ever been in the history of XRP. Right this very second. To me, I understand there's a lot of people bearish, and there are a lot of people who are no longer paying attention to crypto. I get that. To me, it doesn't make logical sense to not be wildly excited right now. How could you not be? I mean, I understand the answer. Number isn't high enough, so no excite. I get it. But this is the time to be, like, we on the precipice of greatness here. Like, this is what happens before things go completely ham, completely ballistic. I'm excited every single day for this, quite literally, because although I can't literally know what's going to happen, of course, I have such high conviction for so many sound reasons. And so that's why I'm trying to scream it from the rooftops here. And the best I can do is record my voice on the YouTubes, okay? I'm doing that at least. And I think that you guys get it too. I think that I'd be willing to bet that the vast majority of us, although we'll admit like we don't know for sure it's going to happen, nobody does. I think if you're paying attention now, you probably feel very similar to me is my guess. That would be my guess. Like, it is about to happen. And this is crazy because, I've been in this almost 7 years. And so when I recognize that and I genuinely believe it to that level, to my core, it starts to feel a little surreal. Now, it'll be the most surreal in the moments when it happens, when it actually starts really going. And I'm like, holy hell, I actually do finally for the first time need to cash out to USD. That's going to be fun because there will become a point where my investments, they're to whatever degree, such an outsized portion of the rest of my net worth that I'm just like, I got to sell this crap. Like, I got to go. Not that it's all crap. I don't literally mean that. Some of it will be, of course, because I hold 42 different cryptocurrencies. They're not all going to change the world. Duh. So some of it's crap. But, man, the opportunity here. This is so cool. So even if we have to wait another month or two or whatever, it ends up being, okay, this thing going to go, friends. It can't stay here forever. And the cool thing is, even in the event that our suspicions, broadly speaking, are wrong, and we actually do just go into bear territory, or some black swan even happens, markets always recover, and crypto is not going away. We will live, we will be okay, even if we don't get to see crazy new highs for another several years or whatever it takes. Okay, I'll still hang out here with you. It's going to be fine. We'll have a good time. It's not going to ruin us. We'll still be able to earn incomes, earn money, and then it comes later. Fine. That's like a worst case scenario. But the crypto pie is going to get bigger, and if you have broad exposure, well, don't you think that there's at least an opportunity to achieve life-changing wealth? Hell yeah. Absolutely. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.